A Minnesota community still trying to come to grips after a deadly shooting at a health clinic. One person has died from their injuries after a shooting yesterday morning at the Allina Health Clinic in Buffalo. 4 others were hurt, 3 of them still in critical condition, but we are told that their condition is stable. The gunman is in jail right now. Investigators say 67-year-old Gregory Ulrich was the man behind the gun. Christiane Cordero was in Buffalo yesterday as all this was developing. She's live there right now with the latest on the investigation. Good morning, Christiane.
Jason, good morning. So there is still a lot to the investigation as law enforcement now works to put the pieces together. But in the chaos of yesterday, it wasn't just that shooting call. They were also dealing with potential threats of explosions as well. None of that has been confirmed yet. That is in the long to-do list. But we do have a few more details that we can share this morning. Police found a suspicious package and devices both in the clinic and the Super 8 where Ulrich was staying. Minneapolis Bomb Squad was also brought in. Why specifically or what they found, we're not quite sure just yet. The Buffalo police chief says Gregory Ulrich acted alone and that he used a handgun in the deadly shooting. There's no indication this is connected to domestic terrorism. Police told us Ulrich targeted the facility or someone inside because he has a history of being unhappy with the health care he has received. Buffalo is a city of about 15,000 people. Its mayor says now is the time for this tight-knit community to get even closer.
Our hearts and prayers go out to the staff and the victims. And I just want to say, you guys, we're going to make it through this. It's going to be difficult. This doesn't happen in Buffalo, Minnesota, right? But we got to be there for these people that are needing us. We got to reach out. And, you know, in this time of COVID, where you can't physically hug someone, we need to reach out by phone and make sure everybody's okay.
Governor Tim Walz also echoed that, just expressing his condolences, thanking law enforcement. We've also heard from some people in the community this morning thanking law enforcement for acting so quickly. Now, Jason, we talked about the many things that we have to learn today, so we're waiting, of course, on just the details of the investigation as it unfolds, as well as that around the explosives specifically, plus, of course, the condition of the 4 other people who were at the very least injured in this yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's the #1 thing we're all concerned about, right? Especially those 3 in critical condition. And still, there are going to be questions today, Christiane, maybe larger policy questions, right? Why was Ulrich able to have a gun? Where'd the gun come from? With all of his issues and interactions with police. So lots of questions that I'm sure we'll hear more about today.
Yeah,
Christiane Cordero, live in Buffalo. Thanks, Christiane.
They didn't know it at the time, but 2 patients became heroes for their quick action during that chaos.
2 nurses came running out, and when we asked them what was wrong, and they said there's been a shooting. Just scrubs, no phones, nothing. They ran out of there pretty quickly.
Tiffany Polite had just dropped off her mom at the clinic when those 2 nurses came out running for their lives. Polite brought the nurses to safety, but then learned some more unsettling news, that her son's school was in lockdown because it was close to the clinic. She says it's a day that will stick with her forever. Police in Buffalo say they've encountered Gregory Ulrich over and over for nearly 2 decades. Now, here's the scene at his former mobile home in Buffalo yesterday. Police quickly worked to evacuate neighbors while authorities searched the area. Investigators were still on the scene into the evening. Neighbors say that the suspect lived there until recently. As we mentioned, police knew Ulrich, having had on and off contact with him since 2003. Police noted that he had a history of being unhappy with the health care that he'd received. A former neighbor said he noticed a sign in Ulrich's window about 2 years ago.
He had a sign that was handwritten. It said Allina Crooks in letters big enough across the top that you could read from a car driving by. The smaller message had a statement about one particular doctor.
Ulrich's criminal history in Wright County shows that he's been convicted of a DWI 3 times, and we've learned that police suggested Zion Lutheran Church get a restraining order against Ulrich after he sent a threatening letter there. The church reports no contact with him before or after. That church did hold a virtual service last night to pray for healing for the community and for Ulrich. Stay with WCCO both online and on air today as we learn more about this deadly shooting.